compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the notice requirements have been satisfied. Meeting dates for the year are confirmed at the annual meeting, are posted on the public bulletin board in the lobby of the Municipal Center, and published in the record within the first 10 days of the new year. Copies of all revised or additional meeting notices are sent via fax to the record, Suburbanite and Northern Valley Press, and are posted on the public bulletin board in the lobby of the Municipal Center. Salute to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Here.
Councilmember Bash.
Here.
Councilmember Park.
Here.
Councilmember Stefanowicz.
Here.
Councilmember Zina.
Here.
Mayor Rustin.
Here. I'll entertain a motion to approve the following sets of minutes: April 9th, the work session; April 9th, the closed session; and April 9th, the regular meeting.
So moved.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Revisions to the agenda?
We have none?
Excellent. Okay, this has been some time in coming. It's my pleasure and honor to introduce Chief Chamberlain. And Chief, congratulations, and congratulations to your men. And I would assume you have somebody here. Is there going to be a presentation of somebody?
That's correct, yes. This evening, this is a two-part presentation on the police department. The first part is accreditation. This is basically the culmination of our endeavor to seek accreditation. And the second part is to recognize 2 officers and 2 civilian persons that were instrumental in saving a woman's life. So that's the second part. So I'd like to introduce Mr. Harry Delgado from the New York Association of Chief of Police.
Chief, use the mic because I want to make sure we get it. And you can take it out of the stand if you want.
Sure. You want to understand it?
Wait, if you believe me, yeah. I'm a handful with you.
That's okay.
If you don't mind. Someone's going to get my back, I suppose. I apologize for that. I'm Harry Delgado, the chief introduced me to. I am the accreditation program manager for the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police, and I'm here proudly tonight to announce and declare that you have one of the best police departments in the state, and not only in the state, perhaps in the nation, because they do follow best practices in New Jersey, national best practices. Just to add some context to the achievement of your police department, there's over 470 agencies that would be eligible to apply for accreditation. To date, there's only 152 that are accredited, and that is because the process is very rigorous. And so it takes the support of the rank and file as well as local government to be able to help or assist the department getting through it. And if you indulge me for about 3 minutes, I'd like to share with you what accreditation means. Accreditation status represents a significant professional achievement. Is a process. The foundation of accreditation lies in the adoption of standards containing a clear statement of professional objectives. Accreditation is a progressive and time-proven way of helping law enforcement agencies calculate and improve their overall performances. It is a certification by an independent reviewing authority, in this case the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police, that the accredited agency was carefully measured against an established set of state and national standards, and in this case, in the case of the Tenafly Police Department, has exceeded accepted practices in the field of law enforcement. I know that we like to share for the taxpayer that research shows, and this data is provided by the insurance companies, that accredited agencies have 11% fewer police professional liability claims, 18% fewer worker compensation claims, and 31% fewer auto liability claims. So moreover, municipalities that participate in the MEL affiliated joint insurance fund are entitled to some discounts as well. But more importantly than just the fiscal advantages, accredited agencies are better able to defend against lawsuits and citizen complaints. Accreditation provides objective evidence of an agency's commitment to excellence in leadership, resource management, and service delivery. Government officials can be more confident in the agency's ability to operate efficiently and meet community needs. And very importantly, accreditation embodies the precepts of community-oriented policing. It creates a forum in which police and citizens work together to prevent and control challenges confronting law enforcement, and provides provide direction about community expectations. Accreditation standards, and we're talking about it just before, give the chief a proven management system of written directives, sound training, and define lines of authority in routine reports that support decision-making and resource allocation. And as I see many officers present here tonight, officers in accredited agencies are able to take pride that they have been objectively recognized for their professionalism and adherence to the highest standards. At the end of the process, on the average, it takes 2 years of hard work. We have a final 2-day on-site visit, and during that time, we literally ask them to see all the proofs that we're making compliant with 105 standards in the state of New Jersey. And so it's very rigorous. And I can tell you, having done many on-site visits, that you always find something, because you look to find something, whether it be a clerical issue or whether it be a substantive issue that you can correct right on site. The exception, by far, is the agency that does not have one single issue found with solution, as we characterize them, as we refer to them. Tenafly Police Department is one of those. If I were to grade them in a traditional sense, as I once did, they would get an A+. But they've actually have excelled in terms of their final on-site. And so it is the opinion of the assessment team that the Tenafly Police Department is a highly professional and committed agency which exemplifies all of the tenets of law enforcement accreditation. No issues found is just simply exceptional. Therefore, the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police and the New Jersey Law Enforcement Commission congratulate Chief Robert Chamberlain, the accreditation manager, Captain Michael DeMoncada, the members and the staff of the Tenafly Police Department, the mayor and council, and those citizens that they so proudly serve for achieving accreditation, joining a very exclusive group of law enforcement agencies that have made this important commitment to excellence in policing. So I'd like to call the chief, congratulate him, and present him with a certificate. Chief. On behalf of the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police, I'd like to present you with this 3-year certificate of accreditation that reads in part, this document certifies that the Tenafly Police Department, having fulfilled all of the accreditation standards as established by the New Jersey State Association of Chiefs of Police, is hereby awarded this 3-year certificate of accreditation. Your Honor, Chief, thank you very much.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. Thank you, Harry. Very nice of you. Just say a couple words about the accreditation process. I think Harry's been a little kind when he said it takes about 2 years. Some departments will probably take it a little quicker, maybe in the 1.5 range. A little over two and a half years ago, we started out of this process. A little bit of transition between the old chief and myself coming in, but we got going and set up on our endeavor to actually seek accreditation status. While the presentation, the process took a little bit longer than the average time to meet the criteria, the end result is that the department is now being guided by the best policies and practices. The additional time spent seeking this prestigious status was not as a result of procrastination, rather it was the opposite. It was probably something of very, very careful, tedious focus that we put into it, actually something not just actually satisfying standards, but making sure something they were actually applicable to our department and best suited for the community. There is a difference, and then just basically having a certificate is something that actually working for you in the best way possible. The borough should know that while the police department, has always been a professional agency in terms of practices, procedures, and overall operations, this certification is now evidence of that professionalism. The department has shown proof that has met the 105 standards. In essence, the department has proven itself to be a current and progressive agency that is committed to keeping up with new trends in policing that are designed to provide the best possible service. With that being said, I just want to thank a couple of different people. I invited retired Chief Mike Bruno. It was kind of last minute, he's not here, but I want to extend a huge thank you to him. He's the one that, basically, with his foresight and his initiative, he started this process. It was easy for me, I shouldn't say easy, he handed me the keys to facilitate. It's a different story, but he's the one that really got the thing moving. I want to thank the JIF for helping us, for funding the project. It's not a cheap thing to do. Hopefully it limits our liability. Actually, I know that it will, but I want to thank them for that also too. borough officials, for you folks, actually something recognizing some of the value in doing this and actually authorizing it. And so I want to thank you as well. The Rogers Group is something, the company that we contracted to help us do this. Professional agency that just made this experience, very welcoming and easier on us. I also want to place a special shout out to Tim Rogers. He was one of the representatives from that company who was the day-to-day contact with Captain Michael D'Amincata, and he was the boots on the ground that basically gave us great guidance and great experience, and really helped us out in that endeavor. And also too, I want to thank really the members of the department, the men and women, sworn and unsworn. That's our office personnel. That's our dispatchers that basically went along with it. You cooperated. It was a very tedious process. It was a tall task. Policies were very, very lengthy. We had to put them together and read them. But I want to thank you for your understanding and for your patience, and job well done. Lastly, with thank yous, I want to recognize Captain D'Amincata. He was the lead officer of the department that was charged with the task management process. It all started with the appointment to the position. You probably didn't know what you were getting yourself into. Then it went on to the training, and then went on to managing the endeavor. And some of his responsibilities consisted of researching, reviewing, and drafting policies for myself to review and approve. He was also charged with the tedious task of researching, collecting files, training records, incident records, other forms of documentation to show proof that we were in compliance or not in compliance with what we were striving to do. And just an outstanding job all around. And as a result, he was an integral part in achieving this prestigious status. And as a result, I want to recognize him for that outstanding effort. Mike, you can come on up. Captain, you can come on up. And as a result, I want to present Captain D'Amincata with the Grand Cordon Award, which reads, individual participation by a member of an operating unit whose efforts led the entire departmental staff in a cited action, that action being accreditation. Captain D'Amincata, job well done. That concludes the accreditation portion. I'd like to move on to recognizing two of our officers for outstanding action to civilian personnel. Back on April 3rd, 2016, 11:02 p.m., James and Michael Panone of Cresskill were returning to their home via Tenafly when Michael alerted his father, James, to a severely damaged vehicle on the front lawn of 293 River Edge Road. James, a former volunteer firefighter, quickly stopped his vehicle and ran over to render aid. Noticing a seriously injured female entrapped in the vehicle, James ran to the nearest house to call for help. Thankfully, Sergeant Terranova, who was nearby and heard the crash, was quick to respond. At this time, the vehicle that had now been smoking was now on fire. Sergeant Terranova, with no regard for his own safety, quickly made entry into the vehicle and attempted to pull the female from the burning car. At this time, Officer Vincent Cooper, a backup officer, arrived to assist. At the same time, James Panone provided fire suppression assistance with the aid of a fire extinguisher that he retrieved from a police car. Noticing the seatbelt was jammed and the female's legs were pinned, Sergeant Terranova quickly cut the seatbelt and worked on freeing the female's trapped legs. With flames now inside of the vehicle, Sergeant Terranova and Officer Cooper freed the woman's pinned legs and pulled her out of the car. Once out of the vehicle, they carried the woman away from the burning vehicle to safety. She was ultimately transported to a nearby hospital and treated for her serious injuries. According to eyewitnesses who observed the rescue, the female would have certainly, without a doubt, perished had it not been for the brave, quick actions of the officers and the observant civilians. For their actions, I want to recognize Sergeant Terranova, Sergeant Cooper. Please come on up. Both officers are going to be receiving a life-saving medal. I think read it. It's an award for an act performed in a line of duty which through disregard of personal safety and a prompt alert action results in saving a life, I present and award the life-saving medal to Sergeant Robert Terranova and Officer Vincent Cooper. What I'd like to do is I want to recognize the knowns for their actions, stopping, making an outstanding observation, you jumping into service, grabbing the fire extinguisher, providing some fire suppression assistance for your service to you, presenting you with the Civilian Service Award for personal assistance by civilian in apprehending criminal or in extending oneself beyond one's safe to provide prompt action to aid people who are in danger. So to you, Michael, and to you, I'm sorry, thank you, and the Civilian Service Award. Nice job. Lastly, I just want to recognize, we recognize officers of the department for accreditation, a couple officers for outstanding actions. But in conclusion, I just want to take the opportunity to really thank the police department. I, on a regular basis, receive praise. Police department's so wonderful. I just want you guys to know, be assured that once I get that, I quickly turn it around and something, and I aim in your direction, and I make sure that I basically give credit where credit is due. You're the guys that are out there, the heroes that are busting your tails, and actually doing the dangerous work. I used to do it. I'm watching from the window now, my office. But I just want to thank you. You do an excellent job in providing excellent service on a daily basis. I just want to give you guys a round of applause. That concludes my portion of the ceremony.
Chief, if you don't mind, I'd like to, beyond thanking the men, I'd like to congratulate each and every one of them for being part of this accreditation process. They should feel the fact that they are part of an accredited force reflects extremely highly on them. And sitting here for as long as I have, and every year I hear these stories, nothing surprises me. We have a group of men that are just outstanding. I can't imagine a better force in the state of New Jersey. And we thank you all for your service.
Thank you.
And thank you too, Chief. I know it's not an easy process.
It's not about me, trust me. Thank you very much.
Okay. Do we have any audience remarks for agenda items? Okay, then I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember Barnes?
Yes.
Councilmember Bash?
Yes.
Councilmember Park?
Yes.
Councilmember Stefanowicz?
Yes.
Councilmember Zito?
Yes.
Thank you. Committee reports. We'll start over to my left. Paul, you have anything?
Well, the police commission met, and we heard about the accreditation, and apparently the men are adjusting well to the 12-hour schedule. Most of them like it. We heard about the SROs. The school officer's term is coming to an end, and there'll be discussion how to continue it. Overall, it seems to be well received. And that's about it. Discussion on possibly looking into getting tasers, and that's all I've got.
The tasers would be funded by forfeiture
funds.
So that wouldn't be costing
Right.
taxpayers anything.
Correct.
But there's a lot, first of all, they're not inexpensive, and second of all, they require training as well. So
Right.
it's a process.
Yes.
Dan, did you have anything else
I did not.
to add to that? Okay. Anything else, Paul?
That's it.
Max, you have anything?
The Senior Citizen Committee did not meet this month.
Mark, I'm sorry, Tony, you have anything?
Just youth services met Wednesday, and things are going as planned. Registration is up to about 55 for the camp.
Great. Mark?
Two things. The ad hoc committee for the community center visited Secaucus, the community center in Secaucus last Saturday. About 4 or 5 of us were there, and Secaucus actually has a beautiful facility. They've got an indoor pool, they've got a single or a double basketball court, and they've got a running track along the basketball court. So if any member of the council are interested in seeing that facility, in terms of further discussions, I would urge that you go to the Secaucus facility to look at. The next step with that committee is the committee will prepare a report of the facilities that have been visited, and then the committee will meet at the end of May or early June to prepare a report or a recommendation for the mayor and council, and we see where we'll go from there. The other item I wanted to bring up, I noticed in Mayor, in our planning board packet this week, we have 53 Knickerbocker on the agenda tomorrow night, and the name of the street. How do we, isn't that up to the mayor and council to name the street? And how do we come to terms with
I
that?
believe at one point I asked it by email if anybody had any suggestions. That the name that was on the plan was basically, it's on the...
On the doorway, you
on the
mentioned it,
door.
right.
I mean, I thought we had discussed this, and frankly, McKay Drive is already taken, Malcolm
Right.
is already taken. I thought...
So how, does that come to us as a resolution or an ordinance to name a street? How does that happen?
I don't think it's either. I think...
What are the mechanics of it?
I think that since they put it on their file, it's not really anything that you can do by way of resolution, but that's not the way it
I
works.
thought the mayor and council actually wind up approving it.
Yeah.
When you dedicate, when it's dedicated, that's done by way of ordinance, except the dedication. But I think in terms of the naming, the applicant would put that
Picks
on
the name
their,
typically?
Right.
If anybody has any other ideas,
I can
please
see it.
forward them to me.
Well, it's going to the planning board
The
tomorrow.
planning
so
board does,
it hasn't
you
come
know.
to us yet, yeah.
Planning board approves it, and
Right.
then when it's dedicated.
I mean, at this point, nothing's etched in stone.
Well, yeah, I'm just raising the issue, that's
You
all.
know, I was scratching my head for months trying
Right.
to come up with something, and then this came about.
Okay. That's all from me.
Do you have anything? Okay, I just wanted to mention 2 things. One is, we did have a COA committee meeting, I guess about 2 weeks ago, and I wish there was something new to report, but COA is still in a state of flux. We are working with our COA attorney, who has requested additional funding because the process is arduous and continual within the courts. And I really don't have anything else to comment on.
I do have something that's, sorry, after you're done.
Go ahead.
Passports, you can get your pictures, your passports done here. The clerk's office is gonna be here.
Tomorrow, Thursday, I think.
Tomorrow, Thursday, from 10 to 2, is passports, notary oaths if you have an approved application,
Senior.
veterans cards, senior photo ID cards, it also has discounts, and for exempt firemen.
Exempt firemen,
Okay.
if they need them.
They did what?
Exempt firemen.
What type of ID?
The other thing I wanted to mention is I did attend a public hearing last Wednesday in Hackensack, the county, needs of senior citizens in Bergen County. And basically what it was is they had a panel composed of people such as the Director of Senior Services, the Head of Department of Human Services, and a few others. They were there primarily to listen to citizens with their questions and comments and needs. I did speak briefly only to say that I felt that the county needed to do a better job of getting the word out as to the services they offer and provide, because many citizens, many seniors in particular, don't have a clue as to what is out there in Hackensack, that all they have to do is ask for. And they understood that. There were a lot of people got up, like the CEO of the Jewish Home, somebody from Share, which is shared housing in Ridgewood, freeholder Tracy Zer was there, the county executive spoke, SAAFE, which is Save Abused and Frail and Elderly People, is a organization that was there. The Taub Foundation, which donates, passes on grants to organizations, was there. So it was a very well-attended event. Okay, if there's no other committee reports, old business, and under new business, we have a couple of ordinances to introduce. Mark, you want to do the first one?
Sure. I move to introduce and pass on first reading ordinance 16-08 and set the hearing for May 24th, 2016 at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter in the council chambers of the Tenafly Municipal Center.
Okay, and 1609 too?
Oh, I thought you just wanted them one at a time.
No, I guess they're both together, so.
So in 1609 also.
Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Lisette?
Ordinance number 16-08, an ordinance amending Chapter 7, Section 4.1.b.5, subsection B of the revised general code of the Borough of Tenafly regulating the use of municipal parking lot app. Ordinance number 16-09, an ordinance repealing ordinance 08-25, creating a special improvement district and deleting Chapter 29 of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Tenafly. Councilmember Barzalato?
Yes.
Councilmember Bash?
Yes.
Councilmember Park?
Yes.
Councilmember Stefanowitz?
Yes.
Councilmember Zina?
Yes.
Thank you. Audience remarks for non-agenda items? Anybody care to speak on anything? Okay, for better or worse, we have a couple of mayor's remarks tonight. First, I have two proclamations I would like to read. The first one honors the Municipal Clerks Week, which was last week, actually. Whereas the office of municipal clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of the municipal clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all, whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community, whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of affairs of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, county, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the municipal clerk, now therefore I, Peter S. Rustin, Mayor of Tenafly, do recognize the week of May 1st through the 7th, 2016 as Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our municipal clerk, Lisette Portella, and our deputy municipal clerk, and to all municipal clerks for their vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. How about a round of applause for our clerk? Thank you. Another proclamation. Whereas the Borough of Tenafly includes a community of older Americans who deserve recognition for their contributions to our nation, and whereas the Borough of Tenafly recognizes that older adults are trailblazers, advocating for themselves, their peers, and their communities, paving the way for future generations, and whereas the Borough of Tenafly is committed to raising awareness about issues facing older Americans and helping all individuals to thrive in communities of their choice for as long as possible. And whereas we appreciate the value of inclusion and support in helping older adults successfully contribute to and benefit from their communities. And whereas our community can provide opportunities to enrich the lives of individuals of all ages by promoting and engaging in activity, wellness, and social involvement, emphasizing home and community-based services that support independent living, ensuring community members can benefit from the contributions and experience of older adults. Now therefore, on behalf of the Council of the Borough of Tenafly, I, Mayor Peter Rustin, do hereby proclaim May 2016 to be Older Americans Month. We urge every resident to take time this month to acknowledge older adults and the people who serve them as powerful and vital individuals who greatly contribute to our community. We're not going to confuse our older Americans, our older adults with our clerks tonight. Promise.
Can I ask a question, please?
Absolutely.
Gloria Lane suggested that I take this resolution and on behalf of you and the council, go to the senior center where they meet and read it for them. So with your permission, I'd like to do so.
Good idea. Excellent. Thank you for doing that. I have one other thing under Mayor's remarks that I'm very pleased and proud to announce. Some time ago, as it happens every year, the New Jersey League of Municipalities notified me of their annual essay contest for high school seniors. I passed this along to the Tenafly High School every year and never got any entries. This year, we did get 5 entries. We sent what we consider to be the best of the local entries down to Trenton, and lo and behold, our entry won. One of the 3 statewide winners, Rebecca Vidazone, who's a senior at Tenafly High School, has won a $1,000 scholarship.
Wow.
It's great. I think it reflects very well on not only Rebecca, but on our schools. So I was very pleased to be able to announce that. I want to thank everybody for coming. We're going to be going into closed session now, so have a safe trip home.
I resolve the compliance with NJSA 10.4-12, Mayor Council of Tenafly, go into closed executive session, discuss a potential co-op opportunity that will be subject to attorney-client privilege. Executive this meeting and release of the public time, the matter is resolved. After this closed executive session, the Mayor and Council will reconvene in the Richard D. Wilson Committee Room to adjourn this public meeting.
Motion?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good evening, everybody. Safe trip home.